Weswa.
Nyanya Dibo. Mbadi. 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 Hebu tuchaze kidogo tuonyeshe waziri.
Long live the spirit of Mbadi, long live. Long live the spirit of Mbadi, long live.
Long live.
Long live the spirit of FCPA, long live.
Long live.
Mbadi power.
Power.
Mbadi ria.
Ria.
Nyadimo tibi.
Tibi.
Nyadimo tialala.
Tialala.
Congress power.
Power.
Congress ria.
Ria.
Mbadi tibi.
Tibi.
Mbadi kiboko yao. Ae. Mbadi kiboko yao. Ae. Mbadi kiboko yao. Ae. Mbadi kiboko yao. Ae. Long live the spirit of Mbadi, long live. Long live the spirit of Nyang, long live. Long live the spirit of Nyadimo, long live.
Thank you. Thank you. Allow me speak in French. Omerutu oge, manoju oge. Hey. Thank you.
Adi, Mbadi usilale, lale lale, Mbadi usilale. Bado mapambano, 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 bado
Let's move.
mapambano.
The people at the back. Thank you, Remy.
Lale lale, usilale.
Thank you.
Bado mapambano, mapambano, mapambano.
Thank you.
Bado mapambano.
At this point, silence. Allow me give an official briefing of that which has been taking place since morning. We have briefed the CS, and he's extended his apologies for coming late. He's accepted a fine. I think when he comes, you will petition. But he's here with us now, and he's not going anytime soon. So, Waziri, this is the national, or rather inaugural launch of the National Students Budget Forum. In front of you is a delegation of student leaders across Kenya from at least 60 universities. There are about 220, and they've come here to be part, not only listen, but be part of fiscal planning come 2026, 2027. Now, in the morning, together with the team led by these beautiful people, we had canvassed intertwine of leadership and finance in a general view. Now we welcome CS to give a keynote address on budget, and then after that, we will have him, or rather you will petition him. The questions we raised, we put them in writing. We have a concept that we are also going to deliver to him, where this is just the beginning. This is an inaugural launch. There is a regional-based forum that is coming, where Waziri will come into the former 7 provinces, and will engage directly with youths, matters national budget and fiscal planning. So at this point, allow me welcome the Cabinet Secretary in a special way, Honorable John Mbadi Ngongo, FCPA. Welcome, Waziri.
Thank you very much. Comrades, power! Comrades, power! Asanteni sana. Let me begin first by registering my apologies. According to my initial program, we were to start this engagement around 2:30. Unfortunately, a meeting was scheduled this from this morning around 10. That was summit. Summit brings together, it's always chaired by the president, and the deputy president is a member. And so as cabinet secretaries, we had presentations to make, but the summit also incorporates the county governors. So we had presentations to make, and something interesting is that every issue that was raised touched on money. So I had no choice. Actually, immediately we finished at run here, I even didn't wait for the photo session. That's how serious I took this engagement, and how I wish that my initial plan of coming here at 2 or 2:30 succeeded. But what could I have done? The boss is always the boss. So poleni sana, it is my hope that you have forgiven me for coming in late. And I know it is at a price, especially on you, who are supposed to have left here earlier. But now, allow me to shorten the next steps of engagement. We would have had good time, maybe 2 hours or so, to engage. But unfortunately, because we are starting late, you'll allow me to shorten so that we make maximum productive use of the time that we are going to have here. Is that okay? So my official speech will be very short. Then I will bring some highlights, bring out some highlights like off-the-cuff remarks. Then I will allow you to intervene, maybe ask questions or make some suggestions, and then I'll come back for like 3 minutes or to 5 to just respond or summarize, and then we'll call it a day. But thank you very much for coming. Comrades, power! You know, you remind me of my time several years ago. I don't think you want to know when I left campus. Chances are you are all not born by then. 1996, were you alive? You are? Just a few of you. So, representatives from the University Students Association, esteemed student team members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a privilege to stand before you here today as we launch the National Budget Students Forum, an occasion that underscores our shared commitment to shaping Kenya's future through inclusive, transparent, and forward-thinking economic policies. Today's gathering is more than a ceremonial event. It is a call to action for the youth, who are the heartbeat of our nation's progress. The purpose of this forum is clear: to embed a youth-centric perspective into our national economic decision-making processes. This is not just a policy initiative, but rather a legal obligation which is rooted under Article 201A of the Constitution of Kenya, which mandates that public resources must be managed transparently and in the public interests. Our youth are the future, and their voices must be central to how we plan, allocate, and utilize our resources. The youth are a significant demographic of our country, making up over 75% of the population, with a potential for contributing towards economic development of this country. This notwithstanding, there are prevailing challenges and emerging issues that we constantly need to track and address to unlock this potential. These include unemployment, which is real. During our time, unemployment was not a question. There was nothing like unemployment. You were waiting to complete your studies and start earning a living. And nowadays, it is completely different. After completing your studies, then you start another very tough journey of looking for employment. And so this is a serious challenge. The other one is skills development, digital literacy, entrepreneurship, and inclusive governance for a demographic dividend. As student leaders and representatives of Kenya's vibrant youth, your role is vital. You embody the nation's aspirations for resilience, innovation, and sustainable growth. Your engagement in national development is not optional. It is critical for building and essential for building a resilient and inclusive economy that offers opportunities for all. Ladies and gentlemen, despite global economic uncertainties, Kenya continues to demonstrate resilience. Our economy outperforms regional averages thanks to deliberate policy choices, a robust service sector, and the unwavering dedication of Kenyans. In fact, in the region, I think Kenya is leading in terms of human capital. If you are doubting, I would invite you to visit a few countries across the region. You'll realize that we have human capital that no any other country can compare with us. Probably, you can only compare Kenya with a country like Ghana. We have the best human brains and very hardworking people in this continent. However, we recognize that challenges remain, particularly for young people facing climate shocks, unemployment, and limited access to opportunities. Our strategic response is anchored in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the fourth medium-term plan. These frameworks prioritize sectors with high youth employment potential. One is agriculture, the other one is micro, small and medium enterprises. The next one or the third one is housing. Number 4 is healthcare. And the last one, which is probably the most important in terms of job creation, is the digital and creative economy. These sectors are not only engines of growth, but also platforms for innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation among our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge the rising voices of youth expressing frustrations over issues like high living cost or high cost of living. Unemployment is a cancer now in our country, eating us up. And governance transparency, which is the worst now of all these challenges. These concerns are valid and demand our immediate attention. Our government is committed to transforming these frustrations into constructive dialogue and tangible action. We recognize that trust is the foundation of effective governance. Therefore, the youth lenses we are institutionalizing today will also serve as a lens of accountability. We invite you to partner with us in monitoring the efficient and transparent use of public funds, ensuring that every shilling allocated to youth empowerment reaches its intended beneficiaries. And in line with the strategic budgeting approaches like zero-based budgeting, we are now integrating the youth lens to ensure that every expenditure aligns with youth priorities and needs. This includes addressing concerns around higher education funding, where we aim to guarantee that no student is left behind due to financial barriers. We are committed to streamlining disbursement processes, reducing bureaucratic delays, and ensuring timely access to loans and bursaries. Furthermore, we are also aware of the financial strains facing our public universities, which impact the quality of education and future prospects of our youth. Our strategy emphasizes increased funding, infrastructure development, and curriculum reforms to equip students with skills relevant to the evolving job market, particularly in areas like artificial intelligence, data science, green technologies, and vocational trades. This forum marks a strategic step towards a people-driven budget, one that reflects our constitutional principles and the collective will of Kenyans. Your insights and recommendations will shape policies that are inclusive, responsive, and future-oriented. And as one of you just said, I think this is the chairman, that we are now going to have engagement in the former provinces. We are beginning here in Nairobi, but I am sure that we are going to have this engagement in the other 7 remaining regions. As you prepare to engage in planning and decision making, know that the National Treasury is committed to working alongside you. Your role is crucial in crafting an economic future that is not only resilient, but equitable and sustainable for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore today is not merely a procedural event. It is a strategic step towards a people-driven budget that is rooted in our constitutional principles and the collective will of Kenyans. As you move into your planning sessions on the way forward and consolidate insights into actionable recommendations and shared commitments, know that the National Treasury is committed to working alongside you. Your role is vital. Let us unite our efforts to build a Kenya where opportunities are accessible to all, where youth are empowered to lead, and where our collective aspirations become reality. Together, we can forge a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient nation. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, to apart from that official speech that I've just given, to make a few comments. You are aware that previously there was limited public engagement and discourse around budget process, and even in discussing finance bill, which is crucial because it is the law that gives effect to taxation. And as we always say that there should be no taxation without representation, I think it has been an oversight in terms of involving the public in determining how they were going to contribute towards running their economy. But I want us also to understand that after the budget is passed and agreed and assented to, then we enter the next stage of budget implementation. And as we speak, we are now implementing 2025-2026 budget. I would want to invite you to engage us and hold us accountable in terms of implementation of the budget that we just passed. It is important that when now I move to the regions, I bring a report card on how far we have done in terms of the implementation of the budget that we passed in 2025-2026, so that the budgets don't remain wish lists but become tools of development. I want to emphasize that if this economy has to grow, there are fundamental things that we must attend to. One, we must give emphasis to digital superhighway and creative economy, as I said in my official speech. But I want to tell, thank you for that. But I want to tell you something, that for this economy to create jobs that we desire, it is important that we ensure that the economy grows at a higher rate than it is growing today. Granted, our economy outperforms the average economic growth in the region. But let us not compare ourselves with the low. Let us not use that as an excuse to be complacent. Economic growth of 4.7 as it were in 2024, or 4.9% as it was in the first quarter of this year, or 5% as our economy grew in the second quarter of this year, and at 5.1 or 5.2 that we projected to grow in the third and fourth quarter, cannot create enough job opportunities to accommodate the over 800,000 young Kenyans, very knowledgeable, well-trained, entering the job market. Analysis have demonstrated that we need at least 7% of economic growth to be able to create employment or job opportunities that would keep pace with the number of youth that come out of colleges and training institutions. Therefore, how then would we realize an economic growth of 7% and above? It is important to note that that cannot be realized unless we still invest in infrastructure in this country. And the infrastructure that I'm talking about begins with roads. The roads that in this country, the roads leading to some of our major trading partner states are not in a state that would help spur and maintain economic growth and trajectory that we want. Take, for example, the road leading us to Uganda, which is a major trading partner for Kenya. It is in a terrible state. The road leading to Tanzania, Nairobi-Namanga Road is not in a good condition in terms of traffic flow. But apart from that, we have other roads. Just coming here was a nightmare for me. I left State House to reach here. I took over 30 minutes. I was taking 30 minutes and I have a lead car. Assuming I didn't have the lead car to misbehave on the road. Because what I've done to reach here was just basically misbehaving. Moving on the wrong side of driving on the wrong side of the road. How many of you have that privilege to misbehave? None. Is that not true? And that cannot help our economy to grow. Thika Road, which used to be a fantastic road, is now not in the state that we would want to be proud of. Therefore, the road sector needs to be looked into. Let me summarize quickly. The other sector that we must address is energy sector. You cannot attract direct foreign investment into your economy if your energy supply is not reliable and is costly. So reliability and cost effectiveness of the energy sector, of the energy prices, is very critical for any economic progress. But we don't have that advantage at the moment. We must address that. The third area is the area of irrigation and food sufficiency. You cannot continue to rely on rain-fed agriculture and expect to be sufficient in food production. You cannot. You must look for ways of ensuring irrigated agriculture. And I will give you an example. We have a project that is running, and I'm sure you have read about it. If you have not been to Galana Kulalu, you must have read about it. You will hear about it. Galana Kulalu is a project that personally I'm very proud of. But you can only be able to put 10,000 acres under irrigation with the current arrangement. For us to move a step further, we need to do a dam to be able to irrigate at least 200,000 acres of land, and that is achievable. Right now, by the end of this year, we will have irrigated about 5,200. Each acre produces 35 bags of maize. We are now harvesting on 1,500 acres. That is already under irrigation. Each acre, 35 bags. Twice a year, 70 bags. Times 200,000, you can produce 14 million bags of maize from Galana Kulali. What is our maize deficit in this country? Is averaging 10 to 15 million. Therefore, Galana Kulali alone, if we were to do that dam, it is possible to fill the deficit that we have for maize in this country. And by the way, if we do not address the issue of food sufficiency, that we are still going to import food into this country, where we spend 500 billion Kenya shillings every year, we are going to affect our forex reserves, and we are going to spend taxpayers' money on that. Therefore, we must do more dams to irrigate our farms, and we have fertile land to produce enough for ourselves. We can produce sugar. Already in a Bora scheme, we are putting 50,000 acres into irrigated agriculture for sugar production. Let me now explain why I'm giving you all these statistics, including our airport. This airport must be done. My friends, I know you people don't travel a lot. That I am very sure. Some of you travel. If you travel, you will agree with me that our airport is a shame for an economy like Kenya. We are being outperformed by Ethiopia, Rwanda. Rwanda is a very tiny economy. Kenya is the biggest economy, East and Central Africa now. We have overtaken Ethiopia. Ethiopia used to be the largest economy. Kenya is now the largest economy. We are number 6 in Africa. We are a big economy. You can only compare us to South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Algeria. Those are the economies you compare Kenya with. Not these small economies like Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda. These are our juniors. And therefore, if you go to these countries and you find the airport is well developed, I was in Angola, I felt ashamed. They have a fantastic airport. Only that their efficiency is very low, rock bottom. So you take too much time to be cleared. If you give that airport to Kenyans who are very fast in the way they do things, with the efficiency we have, Kenya would attract more and more tourists, attract more business people coming here. So why I was raising all this is that we must think outside the box. Because really, for us to do these infrastructure projects, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot do them with your taxes. It is impossible. Because already we are taking taxes from you, and 50%, 48 to 50% is going towards debt repayment. Debt service cost. We cannot borrow more either to do these projects. So therefore, we must think outside the box, productively, creatively, and come with other more innovative ways of funding this infrastructure project. Hence the need for a country like Kenya. It is long overdue. We are late to start National Infrastructure Fund. And I know the president will soon pronounce himself, maybe the day after tomorrow. We are forming a company. We created, I'm hearing people are saying we don't have a legal framework. People have not read that government-owned enterprises law, which was assented to a few days ago, is very elaborate on how to form such companies with the business and commercial mind. We are going to form a company that is going to be professionally run. We are not going to populate it with political rejects and other kinds of people who have no professional background to work in this company. We need serious people. Unfortunately, I am going to be the single shareholder of that company for the time being, until now we get real experts, professionals to run that company. And this company will help us in crowding in private sector funding. I wish I had time, I would have demonstrated you how that model would work. But let me not spend and take much of your time. We will still engage when I get to the regions. You will ask me questions about this National Infrastructure Fund. And with it, we are also forming sovereign wealth fund. Because you cannot be a country which spends everything with the current generation. You must leave something for future generation. And we must create a fund for future generation, a fund that you don't dip your fingers in to finance your budget. That fund must be ring-fenced for the future generation. You can only reinvest it in projects that will give returns in a long period of time for our grandchildren to be able to enjoy the fruits of some of the things that we are doing today. Now, we are starting a process. I've moved to the next stage. We are in the process of starting to prepare the finance bill for 2026. And your input is very important, very necessary, especially those of you who are coming from business school, those who are doing economics, accounting, finance, and general business classes. You can input into the finance bill. Sometimes people imagine that finance bill is a monster. And I think it's a tradition, history. We thought finance bill is a monster prepared at the National Treasury 14th floor, and it is guided. And you know, the ministers then used to be very funny, actually, I would say. They used to be very dramatic. With that briefcase, everybody is waiting. In fact, people are not even selling commodities because they were anticipating price hikes. So if announcement is made to raise prices, the following day, the new prices kick in. If prices are lowered, then they have to clear the stock. It takes some time. Some of us have gone through that. But now, things have changed. It is different. Public participation. We release a schedule for you to bring your input. This is the time. Speak to us. Tell us areas where you want some cuts to be made, and then tell us where you think we can also raise taxes, if at all there is. But Kenyans are presently complaining of being overtaxed. I don't think we have any option or leverage or latitude to raise taxes taxes. If anything, we are looking for ways of now lowering the tax rates. And this, by the way, is a legal requirement that every year we must have a finance bill. We need your input, and we will engage you further on this. Now, I am done, but before I'm done with economic matters, because I want to end economic matters and then come to matters which probably touch on you and the politics, before I go to the plenary. You know, people are saying, the naysayers, they are telling us that there is nothing we have done. But I will tell you for a fact that things were not easy. Things were not very good. I will tell you, even as late as when I went to the Treasury last year, we could pay salaries up to 15th of the month for the previous month. Even paying loans, we were not sure. Remember last year, those of you who monitored, the shilling depreciated to the dollar up to almost 160, up to above 160 to the dollar. Didn't you see that? That was because up to February, there was a Eurobond loan that was coming up for payment by June as a bullet payment. I hope you understand what a bullet payment means. One-off payment. $2 billion is about 260 billion shillings. Was coming up for payment by June, and by February, the government did not have a plan on how to retire that debt. That is why, if you went to the banks to buy dollar, you couldn't get. That is where we had reached. It was terrible. Fortunately, that liability was managed, and that is why we became proactive this year, and we decided in February and March to liability manage a Eurobond that was coming in 2027. We paid 60% of it to give us that space and at least some breathing space. We went even a step further to be more proactive, to be more responsible, and we managed to pay the Eurobond of 2028. So now between now and 2031, we don't have any pressure in terms of paying our commercial debts. That has at least given us the latitude and the leverage to stabilize the shilling. Those who are asking why is the shilling stable, I am telling them the shilling is stable because the demand on the dollar is low. When demand is high, then obviously the price of a commodity goes up. Is that not the case? The reserves that we have is probably the highest in the history. Our stability of the shilling has been demonstrated. But today, if you read Business Daily, the bank interest, the loans extended to private sector has picked up. Early this year, end of last year, credit to private sector was growing at negative. What that means is that banks were not giving credit to the private sector. Do you know the effect of that? When private sector is not taking loans from the banks, they cannot expand business, and therefore they cannot create jobs for you. Today, I am happy that in the month of November, the credit to private sector has grown by 6.3%. Meaning now private sector is expanding. And that is what you need for an economy to create employment. And I want to also repeat here that even the bank interest rates have started falling. By last year, November, the average lending rate was 17.2. Today, it is 14.9. Look at how it is dropping. And even non-performing loans were reported to have shrunk or come down. So that is what you need in an economy to grow. That is what you need for an economy to create jobs. What you people need are jobs. Is that not the case? Yes. Let me now leave that topic of economics and come back to leadership. I know when I see you here, most of you are student leaders. For you to be a student leader, it means you have that inkling, you have that passion to lead. Is that not the case? Leadership is actually a calling, and it starts from a very early age. I started leadership in primary school. That is where I started my leadership. And I remember in class 6, there was no class 8, because I happened to have been the second group of 844. So there was class 7 and class 6. So in class 6, and we had class 7, I was made what today you would call captain, or whatever you call it, president. In our case, we used to call them head boys. So I was the head boy, leading even class 7. Okay? And I was made a head boy. I think the head teacher, I recognized some leadership qualities in me at that early age. And I became a head boy from class 6, class 7, all the way to class 8. Now, with that, I started honing my leadership. Not owning, honing. Now, so what happened? I went to high school. High school, something happened. I want to explain to you that our principal, if you are I'm trying to be humble, yeah, but if you are academically smart, then you could not be made a prefect. That was his stand. He never announced it, but you could see. So for the 4 years I was in school, I was treated like a prefect, but I was never one. And you understand why I was being treated. Actually, I think it was corruption, because the head boy and the deputy, they really gave me all the time. I could not even go and do the manual work. I could decide whether to go for games or read, because when they were stuck, they could come to me and I solved them. In fact, if there was assignment, they would basically come and copy what I've done. So I think that was corruption, isn't it? That was corruption. But what I'm trying to say, that ended. Now, when I came to the university, in my first year in campus, I was made the secretary of student organization of Lower Kabete campus. At our time, we didn't have an umbrella student body. Moi had abolished all umbrella student bodies. Though there was no SONU. We brought it, SONU 92, it was again disbanded. So each campus, those of you who come from the University of Nairobi, each campus, Chiromo, Parklands, Lower Kabete, Upper Kabete, Kikuyu campus, main campus, medical school, each campus had student leadership. I was secretary for 1 year, for 2 years. For 2 years, when I got to 3rd year, I became the chairman. And I became chairman for 3rd year and 4th year. Now that is where really I started building my career. And I will tell you, when I was still in campus, around 1992 to 1996, I had already decided that 2007 I was going to run for parliamentary seat. That would surprise you, isn't it? But that is the truth. And I came out of campus, I was employed by the same university. Another time, if we get opportunity, I'll explain to you how I got myself there. But then I got to the circle of the university, and again, I was elected there in the supervisory committee. And the rest is history. I then went and ran for Gwasi parliamentary seat, which is now Suba South. All this time, I was preparing myself to get into politics, because politics has been in my DNA. Yeah, those who know me, and a few of you are here, my politics has been in my DNA. Hata hii kazi ninafanya inanisuffocate. So, but I want to tell you something. If you want to succeed in politics, there are a few things that you must do. there is a character that you must start building. One of them is that you must have some diligence. Diligence. There must be sincerity. And there must be teamwork. But above all, you must be resilient. And I will explain two words of them. Resilience and patience. Now, let me explain patience with two examples. The first example is in 2002, my clan's men, there was no woman among them, approached me in my office and told me that our clan has never produced a parliamentary candidate ever since independence. That was true. We want you to go and run for the seat. I looked at them and assessed the environment in the constituency, and I had this feeling that I was going to be number two. I was going to be number two. But there is no number two in politics. So I decided that I didn't, and you know, if the moment you get the title of a political failure, it will never leave you. In fact, if people don't decide to start not to take you seriously as a candidate, you will be considered a perennial loser. So I told them, it's okay, I understand you, but this is not my year. I decided to be patient. And I supported people. In 1997, I supported a parliamentary. 92, by the way, when I was a student, I supported a parliamentary candidate. 1997, I was chief campaigner of a parliamentary candidate. 2002, that year, I chose a parliamentary candidate and supported instead of running myself as a chief campaigner. Then when it came to 2007, I told that person that I'm going to be MP. I am going to defeat you. So I told the former MP then that I will defeat you. He didn't believe me. He thought I was joking. He said, John, you are young. I told him, yes, I am young, but you have disappointed our people. I supported you thinking you'd be a different leader. You are not. Now I am facing you. And I did. And the rest is history. I actually got 43% of the votes, and we were 10 candidates. The other 9 shared 57%. Now, that was at the nomination stage. I am telling you about patience. Now, the patience that I want to demonstrate to you is after I became a member of parliament. When I became a member of parliament, despite the fact that in my first term, I think I demonstrated some qualities which made my party leader then, the Prime Minister Raila Odinga, to make me assistant minister in his office. I later became minority leader. But then, so first term, I was assistant minister. Second term, I became chairman of ODM, the longest serving to date. On my third term, I became minority leader. Despite that, being chairman of a party, being minority leader, I was running for governor, and I went for the seat. I even shared with Baba, and I told him, Baba, now, having served 3 terms, being the senior most from this county, I feel, and with all my background, you know, kizungu mingi hapa, nimesema na kijaluo yote nikachanganya. Nikamwambia, now you know, I want to go for this gubernatorial seat. He told me it is a fantastic idea, but don't announce too early. And I listened to him, announced a little bit late, started my campaign with my strategy. Those who come from that region, you know, my name is called Nyang. Nyang is crocodile. And crocodile, I was given that name. I was not born with that name. I was given that name in the process because crocodile has some characteristics, and they believe I have similar. Yeah, they believe I have similar characteristics that for you to know how dangerous I am, it will be too late. But now, that is besides the point. I was asked, after spending so much, and when I was in the trajectory, I thought I was winning. And I believe up to date that I would have won that nomination. But I will tell you, I was called on 24th of March by Baba. And he told me, look, my son, look here. I have 2 reasons why I feel you should not go for this seat. So he told me the women who are supporting me wants me to demonstrate that I support women leadership. And the tests, I am narrating to you what exactly transpired, yeah? And he told me that, no, you see, they have told me that I should give a ticket to one woman who would likely win. And I think Homa Bay County is a county I've looked at who has a credible woman candidate. I said, okay. I was listening. Not very happy, I must admit. Then he told me again, now look, all my senior politicians, Orengo, Nyongo, are in the village. I'm going to form a government. Who is going to be in my cabinet? So I told him, Baba, I don't like this suggestion, but because I respect you, I will buy it. So I decided to be patient. Some of us, I'll tell you, would have decided to run anyway. Yeah? Because I had a lot of pressure. When people heard that I'm stepping down, the kind of pressure I had from my supporters was enormous. If you are not someone who is patient, you would give in. But I resisted and said, I'm going to do what Baba said. And I did, and the rest is history. I went even and campaigned for people I didn't like, including my MP. I didn't like much. But still I went and campaigned for him. The rest is history. Now, lastly on that, then by the way, my coming back to Parliament as nominated MP was an afterthought. I was put there just in case things don't work. And that in case is what happened. Things actually didn't work. And I think God had prepared me to be in Parliament briefly again for 2 years. So I came back to Parliament, and I was minority leader, so I thought it was automatic that I would just become minority leader again. Because my party leader was telling me how I did fantastic job. President Uhuru praised me even in Kasarani, how I was a very good minority leader. In fact, I was like majority leader because the majority leader, Kemunya, didn't even know names of MPs. I'm the one who used to whip MPs around. So I come back, then I hear someone else has been given minority leader. Of course, I got very angry, sat with Baba. He again explained to me that now you see these people are saying you are nominated, you can't lead. Then I told him, fine, after all, you have given me at least something, I have a job. You have nothing now. I should not put pressure on you. Those were my words to him. But you see, that is why now, finally, when he was sending his people to work with the president, he thought of me. If I did not exercise that kind of patience, I would probably not be standing before you. So I would only beseech you, if you want to go far in leadership, be very strategic. Please don't rush and make decisions with emotions. Make sure you think. Even when you are annoyed, breathe in 3 times. Go back home. Don't respond. Just go back home, sleep over it. Then you will go far in leadership. Leadership requires a lot of patience. Leadership requires also honesty. And I was ruthlessly honest with my leader most of the time. And I was never honest with him in public. You can't be honest with your boss in public. Ni kama you are shaming him. You look for a private opportunity. Tell him, I want to talk to you. And then you go in and talk and say what you want to say. So I know many of you want to be leaders. I want to just beseech you that if you want to be a leader, first be committed. I won my first election when I was considered the most poor of all the 10 candidates. I say considered because I was doubting. There were 2 people I thought I had more money than them. But you see, since I was branded poor, I decided to take advantage of that. And I exploited it to the full. I was telling people, me, I have no resources, but I have the brain. And I have the heart to serve you. So don't be lied to. I know times have changed, and nowadays people have monetarized and commercialized politics. But if you want a seat, Don't be discouraged. That is, it's only the wealthy people who can get those seats. If you communicate, our people are very informed, by the way, including those who have not gone to school. And they know how to make decisions. If you have something, please communicate it. And by the way, don't wait until when you want to run is when you start engaging with the community. Engaging with the community does not mean that you'll always be giving them money. Just look for those initiatives where the community is involved. Get in, and people will appreciate you. They will see leadership in you very early. Very, very early. So I want to tell you, you have the potential of leading, including in leading this country. But no one will come to you at home and tell you to go and become a leader. It is you to decide. It is you to decide. That is why when I listened, juzi, last weekend, nilisikia one politician saying, Eti, why are people moving around asking to be sijui kingpin of this region? I don't know what that kingpin means, after all. But then he's saying, we have Dr. Buru here, and we have so and so, so and so. You see, Dr. Buru is our political leader in ODM, party leader. But that does not kill our ambitions. It doesn't kill our ambitions. We respect him as a party leader, but we are also there, isn't it? And no one will come to my house to tell me to go and run for president. It is me to decide. If I'm going to run in 2032, it is I to say I want to run in 2032, and these are my policies, and this is what I want to do for Kenya. So if someone else is not interested in offering himself or herself for any political seat, wacha kai nyumbani, sisi, we know we have what it takes to lead our people. We have what it takes. I don't want to go beyond that. I think I've communicated. So, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can save on time, could you allow me to end there so that I could allow some of you to ask questions? But as I go back to sit, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your patience. This is a clear demonstration that you can be leaders. When you want to be a leader, you must show patience. Thank you very much. And I want to sit. I think now you will conduct the next program. I will take down your questions. And if you don't mind, please let them not be too many. I would tell you, I would just confess to you, since morning I've just had tea. Tea only is what I've had. But hata nyinyi najua amjakula. Sindio? Sindio? Amjaona? So because all of us have not eaten, I will still allow questions and I'd answer them, but we must also try to leave here as soon as we possibly can. Thank you very much.
First, allow me to first focus on the keynote. Questions that are coming, at least 5, to delve into fiscal planning, policy, finance, bill 2026. So we can have 2 ladies, 3 gentlemen, 3 ladies, 2 gentlemen. The mic, where is the coordinator? One from the far end, stand up. 1 to stand up, 1 man from the far end to stand up. Thank you. 1. Let them first stand. 1. The 3 can sit. The 3 can sit. Jemo, just hold on kidogo. Another lady from here, stand. The blue, the lady in blue. Thank you. That is 2. The lady at the far end, stand. That is 3. We have 1 in front. 5. So please first introduce yourself, your institution, and then you can ask a question. Very direct and precise, please.
Good evening. I'm Samuel Kiama, Pwani University. And concerning the Finance Bill 2025-2026, Waziri, have a proposal. Now that you have admitted that it's impossible to have the youth employed, I think you should also admit that the youth that you look at here, next year they will be jobless and vulnerable. So tumeona unapea wazee wale vulnerable pesa kidogo ya kujisaidia. Kwa hiyo finance bill ututengee kama youth, tukigraduate na sisi utupeka capital ka 100,000 tuende kwa biashara tukajisaidia.
Thank you.
The last one. There's a time that you said if we drop corruption by 50% when you enter to office, we would save 1 billion per year. And we, the youth, are not afraid about the taxes. What we are afraid is the budgeted corruption. So with the experience that you have in office, how have you reduced the corruption? And what is the corruption rate of this country? And what are the measures that have been put in place to make sure that we live in a good country?
What's your name again?
I'm Samuel Kiama, Pwani University.
Pwani University, thank you. On your first question, I'll help Waziri as he will answer. That is why we are here. This is the first cabinet secretary to engage the youth. I think he'll delve more into it. Thank you. The next one.
Comrades Power. My good name is Paul Cheng. I am serving as the Secretary General of Zitech University Students Association. Waziri, we have a student-led caucus, that is student leaders from Nyanza region, and we've always been forefront in defending the current government. Waziri, we've faced a lot of criticism, some of us tumesalimiwa, and last year, a majority of us who are here as the Nyanza student leaders, we received a lot of threats, and as we speak, as we're going to the next financial year, which is the 2026-2027, Waziri, we are kindly requesting that we also be part of the team that is going to lead public participation in other counties or regions. We've been here and we are always here and we are ready to support you in delivering to this government. Waziri, another thing, we have a lot of youths who are student leaders who are now or who want now to transition to national politics. A number of them are here and they are really in need of your support. Some of them not from Nyanza, not from Western, not from Eastern, but across all this country. They all want your support. A majority of them are here, and we kindly request you, Waziri, kindly have a meeting with these upcoming leaders. Some of them want MCAs, some of them want MPs, and they need guidance. They also need financial muscles, which we as the youth, as you said that you had 9 of your competitors who had a lot of money, and you are very poor as me, as I am. So Waziri, kindly come to our rescue. We are ready to support you. We are going to defend you, and we are going to defend President William Samoei Ruto with all our body parts. Thank you very much. Mimi ni two-term ambassador, Nairobi County, Central Region. Comrades Power. Comrades
Thank you. Thank you,
Waziri
SG.
transaction. Also, I'm being reminded of one thing, Waziri. I know some of us here are leaders, and maybe shida utokea. Some people get crushed, the event, and they are here with us.
Yes,
Kindly
we will
come through
address
for them,
that.
and
Thank you.
let
Please.
them at least get some transport back home. Thank you very
you.
much, and may God bless you.
Thank
We'll
you.
support you, Mbadi the 6th. Thank you.
The questions we are taking is on the keynote address, please. He is here. He has to address the issue of the delegates that are sat here. Thank you. Ask your question, your name, please.
Comrades Power. Comrades Power. So my name is Aloch Gertrude Lucy Amondi. I come from Homa Bay County. I'm a student at Kenyatta University, and I'm also a member of Go Green organization, just if you so you know. So I want to make my first comment, and I want to appreciate Waziri. It is true that we have seen you have done a good work in the Treasury department since you sat on that seat. And we give you your applause as you are still in that seat. 2, I would ask something outside your scope. And my question is about the retirees. This is because those retirees are our parents. They are my parents. And if my parent is a retiree, That means I cannot eat if they do not have something in their pocket. I cannot go to school. So I would like to ask the retirees that retired, let me say in the year 2023, most of them have not received their retirement money. And this is affecting our education. It is affecting our feeding as comrades. Therefore, I would like to ask the Treasury, for after how long should the retiree be outside the job
The
sector?
connection between retirement benefits and the youth in school. That's your question?
No.
Be precise, please.
So, when somebody retires outside job, yeah, after how long should they stay for them to get their benefits? Yes. And then, Mheshimiwa, I have heard you have said that you have only took tea since morning, and I want to tell you that I have also only took tea.
Thank you.
Morning.
Next question, Jemo.
No, please.
Next question, please, James.
I would like to say that policy, we are talking about policy here. And policy, Mheshimiwa, you have been a policy maker, and you have to say it as it is, right? So these forums are made for youths. And when they make it public, and you get the information, you come to the gate. They allow us to come inside, and then they call us gate crashers. This lowers our dignity as leadership. They would just tell us, go back. But not coming in here, and then you're being intimidated. No food, because your name is not inside the list. I did not eat lunch because of that. I'm so hungry, about to faint.
My sister, you have to eat.
Sorry.
You will eat.
I'm not lying.
Next question.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. I would say it because Waziri knows how to speak in the parliament. You say it the way it is. You say the truth. You speak honesty. And that is what I am speaking. Finally, I would like to encourage our fellow comrades. When you hear such like forums, go. If they don't want you in those forums, let them chase you away. Because if you don't come to these forums, they won't happen. And therefore, you must be handled well. I'm speaking of this because there should be no repeat of such a thing
Jemo.
in any youth leadership summit conference.
What's your name again? What's your name again? What's your name again?
If you allow me.
What's
now,
your
allow
name
me
again?
My name is Gertrude Lucy Amondi Aloch from Homa Bay County.
Lucy, please
And,
come. Come.
The MP.
Please come.
Honorable Kaluma.
Please come, Lucy.
Enda Lucy.
Next question. Lucy, come. Question first, please. Your question, put your question. Your question, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So we've talked about budgets. Okay. My name is Caroline Atieno Mboya from Sindo, Homa Bay County.
Your institution?
So I'm from Kenyatta University, the congressperson, Faculty of Science and Technology. So my question was, we've talked about budget approval, budget implementation, but we've not talked about budget transparency. When we talk about, this hub, known as Kadano Hub, where it's a group of tech students who look for ways on how we can bring this issue of transparency to the government. Okay, in the docket of finance, you've told us that you're dealing with a lot of things. You're dealing with roads, our health, you're dealing with education. So you see, at some point, we fail to understand, like in the docket of education, like now under NFM, all these things that are okay, when we talk about loans and those funds that are being placed in our schools, you find sometimes they talk about percentages. Like you see, we are told this percentage got this amount of money, but when you go back to our schools, you find a lot of students have not yet received the loan. So we want transparency. We really want to acknowledge the importance of AI on breaching informations, like when a road is being built, let us know that this type of road has been built in this place. This number of students have been given this amount of money.
Thank you.
Let us normalize using actual figures, and also let us normalize coming up with these transparency actions. Like let us integrate AI, let us use tech to show all these figures to these students and also the community.
Next question. The last one.
Let try to summarize the question.
Marco, your last question. Very precise, please.
So personally, mine is a recommendation.
Yeah.
And just to say that I'm planning to unseat our current MP, CS Mbadi. I'm planning to unseat him for Sober South, that is, in the 2027 election. So my recommendation is this. I'm Samuel Oya. You know me. So my recommendation is this. As a Department of as the Department of Treasury, this is a recommendation that you can propose to the Ministry of Education. We introduce skill-based training that is centered on entrepreneurship in all the courses that are taught in school. Because right now we're struggling with unemployment, and we're seeking to have people who can create employment themselves. So when we have skill-based training within each and every course, that I'm doing law, and I know the entrepreneurship aspect of it, how can I create my own employment out of it across all the other sectors, so that each person getting out of the school can, apart from the employment from the government can offer, they can create their own employment. So that is my recommendation.
Thank you.
Across.
Thank you. Finally, Kasam, please come as the CS is answering the questions. I think he's writing it down. You speak on behalf of the comrades, and then the CS here. He can speak on behalf of all the comrades, and then the CS can answer the questions.
The time is running, Waziri. Thanks for showing up. Ladies and gentlemen, tumsifu Yesu Kristo wa Kristo. Tumsifu Yesu Kristo. Direct, my name is Jevin Oyoka Sam, the only young man who has interacted with the president twice and still remained jobless. I want to go back direct to the main reason why we are here. Waziri, these young people, I want to focus on a point that you've said, that the government is doing a lot of things. And any wise man here has heard from you what the national government is doing. But the problem is those at the grassroots level. Somebody from the interior part of Kosewa in Dewa cannot get that information. And the best ambassadors to use are these young leaders that are in this place. If you get a platform, the only way that you can give back to us is giving us the grassroots mobilizations for the young leaders that are present in this house. Sindio? And Waziri, I wanted to pose a concern before I give my remarks, is that we saw that the Form 4 or those who are dropped out of school, the government was giving them a funding that was called the Nyota Fund. And that is so good. So my worry is, if you are in the university or you are close to something, you are not getting these resources. And that has kept me wondering if you want us to go and steal from those dropouts so that we can take those resources. And that will bring me to my question, that in the next financial year, 2026, 2027, what you can do for us is at least those who are graduating during that year, you can also give them some grant at least to start a life immediately after graduation so that they don't be frustrated. Sindio? And last but not least, if I leave here by not thanking those people who invited themselves to this meeting, and they have shown decorum, and they have contributed to the main topic, kindly consider them, as I always tell you, nyangol pie korgi, pour water in their chest. And lastly, I want to thank the leadership that have organized this caucus led by Alo and the team. You people, you have done an amazing job. You have done a good job. Rallying all these people and putting them here, sending them text messages is not an ordinary job. The enemy, I'm spitting wisdom, kindly. The enemy of the youth is the youth. And finding these young people, bringing us to this place without checking our tribe. They are wise people, and the only thing I can assure them, because I'm son of a poor man, you will all go to heaven. Thank you so much. And because we are here, pour water on our chest.
Thank you. Let's clap for all the people who've spoken as we welcome Waziri to answer the questions.
Yeah, so the first question came from my friend from Pwani University, and you have indicated that youth are also vulnerable and should be given money. I think you varied it, that you should be given some kind of grant to support initiatives to start maybe business, and not the normal stipend that we give to those vulnerable people. Personally, I would support that. We just need to put our voice, especially when we will be making this submission on the budget process. But I think it is important that we look for, if you cannot get formal employment, and that ties with the question on Nyota, that we may need to think how then do we make some resources available for those who have come out of school, especially colleges and training institutions, and want maybe to start their businesses and run. So we need to provide a platform where it is possible to access funding. It may not be very cheap because, as I said, many of you are leaving colleges to go into the market, and not all of you also are good in business, by the way. So not all of you should attempt. Don't attempt something where you take money, because there is also no free money in this world, isn't it? So don't attempt something that you may not be able to do. But I think it is important that those of us with that capacity and advantage should be considered for that. So I think I've addressed that together with the Nyota. On corruption, you know, this statement that I made was somehow misused. Today it has not been misused. Today you are spot on. Actually what I said was, there is this report that every day we lose about 2 billion. It's not my report, it came from the former president. So I just said that if we are losing 2 billion per day, assuming we reduce that by 1, actually if you ask me, I would love that it's reduced to 0. But I was just giving a hypothetical example that if you reduce it by 1, it means we'll lose 1. So if we are losing only 1, we are losing 1, and we are saving 1 from what we would have lost, that is 360 billion per year. And that 360 billion per year is probably almost enough. If you multiply it by 2, is enough to close my budget deficit. I don't even need to go to Washington to beg for money from IMF and World Bank. Actually, that is the context I brought it. That if we could be prudent in use of our funds, then why can't we then be self-sufficient? So the way to address this from Treasury perspective, because I'm not a police officer, I'm not ESCC, I'm not ECI, what I do at National Treasury is put systems that would deter corruption. That's why we introduced something that has been talked about from 2018, e-procurement. We have implemented it this year. All this year, it has just been done. We have just been dancing around it. Oh, we are implementing. No, we are not implementing. We'll implement next year. It has been a moving target. This year, I said, with all the flaws, we learn as we move. Let us face those challenges. So we have implemented it. You see, there is pushback. People have been fighting it. Counties, parliament, nani. But I stuck to my guns. Because to bring change in this country, you need to be courageous. And I realized that because the president has the courage and is supporting me, I decided also to be courageous. And I realized if I don't implement it, no minister will implement it. No minister will implement it. So I have decided, hii nitasukuma. Hata nini ikifanyika, nitasukuma tu huko mbele. Kwa niko nini? Yeah? In fact, I was saying, some people are saying, oh, you will be impeached. I said, even if I'm impeached, how much time have I been in this space? 18 years. Hata nikienda nyumbani, there are people who just want even one term. 5 years. Mimi nimekaa hapa 3 terms in bunge. Now I'm going to my second year as a minister. Kwani iko nini? But we must implement e-procurement. There is one thing that is not being talked about, which we have brought. Treasury single account. Do you know in this country, people have been paying even one invoice 3 times? We have brought a system now where you cannot. And we have caught many. Many people have been caught trying. They are saying, oh, it is innocent. But I know they just wanted to steal. That's how it has been happening. Treasury single account. And they don't like it. Nimbaya. If you request money to pay Mbadi, you cannot pay my sister here. Hiyo hakuna. And it will sort out, if it rolled out to completion, pending bills will be a thing of the past. And you will not be cherry picking invoices that this one has talked to you nicely, you pay. This one has not talked to you, you don't pay. It will, the moment you requisition money that you are going to pay suppliers and you have listed them, you will pay those suppliers. If you don't, the money will come back to us. So that is a system we have implemented. The other one is integrating payroll. Today, and by the way, the governors were resisting. Yeah? They don't want statutory deductions to be done at source. And we are asking, why? Why do you pay someone's salary, net salary, and you have already deducted NSF, you are not remitting? Pay as you earn, you are not remitting. SHA, you are not remitting. We want a system where you deduct and that money does not go anywhere else. That money goes direct to those institutions that they should be paid. So we are bringing a lot of reforms, by the way. Some are not in public there. Some are just quiet here. But the face of it is the e-procurement. That's what I know you know. But there is a more serious one on Treasury single account. Paul, you want to lead. I think we can involve, when we are going to the regions, we can see the 7 regions, we can pick some of you to also accompany us. Yeah? And maybe we will ask you to speak to your colleagues on areas that you think should be accommodated in the budget. And by the time we are done, we should document this properly. We should assess at the end of it, what is it that you said that has been captured? If you said 5 things, at least 1 or 2 should find its way in the budget. That is when public participation would make sense. If you just talk, we are just a talk shop like this, we just talk and we go, and whatever you say is not embedded or put in, then it makes no sense, isn't it? So we must make sure that some of the things that you suggest are included. On how to support you, I agree, we can mentor you. I can find some time, you know my office is also very busy, but I can find time to be discussing with a few of you who are interested in politics. I can give you some tips of how to win election, isn't it? Because I've never lost any. I've participated in elections from university. I've never lost. And I don't intend to lose any. Even 2032, I will not lose. I will always win. I know God will be on my side. Any election I go into, if I run for Senate, I'll get it. If I run for woman rep, I'll still win. So I just want to make sure that I announce at the appropriate time what I'm going for. Alwach, you have talked about something very sensitive, and I agree with you on retirees. There has been a challenge on payment. Where is Alwach? On thank you. There have been challenges on payment of retirees, especially those who retired in 2024, 2023, 2024, because we changed the law in December last year to exempt all pensions from tax. Because really, if you have offered as a service to the nation and you are now age of 60, you are going home, we should give you your money without again going for a portion of it in form of taxes. So when we passed that amendment, KRA has their own interpretation. Our interpretation is different from theirs. They are saying that only those people who have retired from December 2024 should have their pension non-taxable. Our understanding is different. Pension, with the way we pay pension, we budget and pay it as a cash basis. So before you get your pension, before you receive it, and the law was changed before you received your pension, you should get it tax-free. So that has been, we have been going around with KRA until last week. I wrote to the Attorney General to give us opinion. And I know the Attorney General will give an opinion. I am sure it will be a favorable opinion. Then immediately it is given, we release money. We didn't want to deduct taxes from these retirees, and then we realize they are supposed to get their money in full, then we again pay them. Or we give them money in full, then after giving them, then the law, it's interpreted that we should have deducted. We will not have any money to recover. Because how do you go to retirees and you start telling them to refund some of the money you paid them? On those of us who probably didn't get official invite, I'll speak to, because you are here, and you must also participate in public participation. So I'll see what to do, because I know you need to go back to where you've come from, maybe. Isn't it? Some of you, yes, are coming. Transparency about the budgets, that is correct. You have asked, why are we talking only about budget approval and budget implementation without transparency? Actually, it is both. When we talk about budget approval, it is my understanding that the budget approval process must be transparent. That's why we are starting now to engage with you and other Kenyans on the budget of 2026-2027. And this engagement will go until the budget finally presented to Parliament and passed. And we will discuss the finance bill and pass. And then budget implementation. We must start now being more transparent on budget implementation. When I go to the next region, I will give an account of how much probably we have spent, or we have released to go to the road sector, and probably give indicative areas where that money is going. For example, some counties, this county probably has received this. If I go to the coast, it would be important for Kwale to know how much has gone there to do the roads, for Tana River to know, Taita Taveta to know, Kilifi, Lamu, and Mombasa. So we must start the process of being transparent, both in the approval of budget and implementation of budget. So we must be more open in terms of data. Like, where are the roads? I think that is a question that, who asked this question? Caroline. That where are they being done? Caroline and I come from the same constituency, because you said you come from Sindo. Imagine from independence to 2016, not even an inch of tarmac road had been done in that constituency. Not even an inch. Then 2016, the road, our major road is awarded, and then the contractor comes in, and then the contractor goes away, then another one is supposed to be awarded, then there is no money. after doing some 5-6 kilometers. Then you get another contractor to come in 2020, and he sits there, starts the work, does some earth work, and then stays there up to 2024. So now is when that road is being done. Now, the question you want to ask, is that really fair and just? Now, that is even better. I went to Tana River. Crossing from one side of the Tana River to the other to go to school, the children cross on with canoes, some they put sticks and they cross. Imagine Tana River. You are crossing on some very delicate pole put for you. And many children drop in water, the crocodile eat them. From independence to this year, to this year. Because of a bridge which cost us 100 million. So when I went there, and that is the sense of Minister for Finance, not sitting in Treasury building, you must also go out. And I've chosen to be going out. I saw that, and I said this is unfair, and we allocated 200 million, 100 million for each of the two bridges. And they are nearing completion now. It's going to sort out that problem. How much have we been wasting? People have been eating, embezzling billions of shillings in this country. Yet we cannot allocate 100 million to sort out the problem of a community. And their children, they lose their loved ones. Young children. It's not fair. And that is why I say we need more transparency as to where we are allocating resources. You see some people showing you pictures of schools, how they have done their schools with paved roads to the school. And that is your taxes, your tax. Yet for those of us who have been traveling to Western Kenya during Christmas holiday, between Naivasha and Nakuru, you take 10 hours. We live in such a country. I think we agree with you, skill-based training is important. We need to adopt it. Probably I will talk to my colleague to also be engaging you. I know Gamba is very receptive to ideas. He should engage you and just see what kind of reforms can be done in the education sector. Kasam, it is true that our grassroots people don't get all the information that we have, and therefore they become vulnerable. Look, when someone stands and says that, you know, Safaricom shares, these guys are selling Safaricom for only 34 shillings per share. Yet, Safaricom share as we speak today can fetch 70 shillings. In fact, instead of receiving the 200 billion that the government is going to receive, they could have received 400 billion. The other 200 billion, the leaders are taking that money. You know, they say that, and if that information is not countered, the person at the grassroots would just take it as gospel truth. And I saw one of the leaders say it in church. Yeah? Say it in church. And people were like, what? Is that what the government is doing? You know, those people left the church hating the government thoroughly. But what is the truth? Ask that person who said that Safaricom shares can be sold at 70 shillings. Those of us who have Safaricom shares, to call that man to Nairobi Securities Exchange so that he can give you 70 shillings per share. The price of Safaricom shares is 27 shillings, 28 shillings today. And he's telling you it is 70 shillings. Can he buy it at 70 shillings? Just ask him that simple question. Can you tomorrow go to Nairobi Securities Exchange and buy 1 million shares there? Or don't even go 100,000 shares at 70 shillings. Pay 7 million. He will not. And let me make you laugh. You know, I decided to read. You know me, I didn't campaign with the president. In fact, I never prayed for him to be president. I was seriously praying. One of my prayers which was never answered. that he fails. But they had a manifesto. And we had a manifesto in Azimio. Fortunately, the Azimio manifesto, I spent a whole weekend together with my other colleagues. We were working on that manifesto. In some house in Karen, along Fairacre. From Friday to Sunday, we were leaving that place past midnight. We did our manifesto. They also did theirs. Word for word, the manifesto of UDA stroke Kenya Kwanza said this, that because of the fiscal space that is limited, we are going to take out of the budgets major commercially viable infrastructure projects. And we are going to start an infrastructure fund. The only thing they didn't say is national, but they said infrastructure fund. And the initial capital into that fund will come from the proceeds of privatization, word for word. Then I asked someone, this guy is speaking about us doing illegal things. Wasn't he the running mate of the president on Kenya Kwanza? Did he read the manifesto? Then the guy told me, no, he never read. He did not read the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza. It is in black and white. And let me tell you, even as Azimio, we had a similar suggestion. And we are just implementing. In fact, we are implementing the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza word for word. Word for word. And I even told, we are even late. I was telling His Excellency that, you know, we are in third year. We should have done this before this manifesto. And the president said, I agree with you. This is something we should have done way back. We have no choice but to do it because both sides recognize. Now, where was I? So we will see how to get grassroots mobilized for us to talk. And you know, when we are the ones talking to them, it may be more believable if some of you also speak to them. I agree. Lastly, I think I had already addressed the issue of a similar fund like Nyota. Let me leave it there because we have captured a grant for graduates that should be made. You can also sit and do a written memorandum to us as student leaders. Please do a memorandum to us on 2026-2027. Something I can take to the cabinet and say, this is a suggestion from students. Can we pick some of the suggestions and put in our budget? Is that correct? So please, the leadership, maybe we go for the next round, but I hope you will now limit it to less than maybe about 3. I can see so many hands, but if you could reduce the number.
Only if you're promising to be precise. Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement? 1 guy, 1 lady, 2. 1 from this side, 1. Okay, we can take 3. 1, 2, 3. Please, be very precise, please.
Okay.
These people have not eaten.
It's okay. Our CS, John Mbadi, expert, CPA, ODM. My name is Paul Kirutu Samuel, Secretary General Emeritus, Maseno University, and currently Youth and Student Coordinator for Peace and Security under Jukwaa la Wasomi initiative. Now, my question is, in your entire speech, Bwana Waziri, I haven't heard you touching on matter security, and you know, security is very important in our institutions as far as academics are concerned. So what...
Let him speak. The connection between Ministry of Interior
from where
and Finance.
I come, insecurity is a challenge. So if your place is okay, just keep quiet. So, Mr. CS, please tell us what is your plan on how you are going to make allocations for security in various campuses, because that has also been a challenge to many institutions. Please, thank you.
Thank you.
A very good afternoon. So my name is Stacy. The first question is, having student leaders here, we are either having our years, 1 or 2 years in leadership. I'm giving a proposal that annually, maybe after every academic year, we have a student leader summit, probably running from 1 week in Mombasa to and fro for them to learn the skills, because I realized most of us come from high school and get directly into politics. From that, we can pick a few and then accompany you for the mtaani budgeting and all that as we recruit others, so that these skills, they can have them to and fro, on and off within the profession. So I'm proposing just after every academic year, you have a student leader
It's a
summit.
proposal.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
The last question is, the CS, I asked something about the help for the KSL students. Can we get a clarification that next year, 2026, 2027, the KSL students will get help?
Thank
They
you.
didn't get it this year.
Thank
Your
you.
name, please. Your name?
Stacy Onyango.
Last question.
Yes, thank you so much once again. Good evening indeed. My name is Pascal Odhiambo. I'm from the Technical University of Kenya. In that case, I'm a graduate in economics and statistics. So I had a question to our expert, because it affects most of us directly in this as the student leaders. A matter of students, lecturers strike, because I've not had it being tackled, and I would love if you include it in the 2026-2027 budgetary allocation. Thank you.
Thank you. As we finalize.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Tony Odhiambo from the Kenyatta University. I just have, I just have something that we want to present as youth that we made as a conference from the Western region in this forum. I think when yes, we can say that as youths we might not have money, but I think we have in abundant integrity, superstitiousness, and exposure, and we hate intimidation. I think we are the rare opportunities or the rare species around who are having the opportunity to stop the finance bill in this country, and that one should not be intimidated to us. I think we have a certain memorandum, Mr. CS, that we need to share with you, and you can just take your couple of time to go through it and understand it. Thank you.
You can present the memorandum to the CS just now.
Little mic.
That is the last, Waziri. As Waziri is coming, we are now entering the wrap-up session, where after he answers the question, we can have a photo session, and then we remain put. We see how each and every one of you will be facilitated. Right?
So, this is the memorandum. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Blair, Tony, yes. Okay. Hey, that's been a long one, a long day. Finally, we are coming to a close. Paul Samuel, you've asked about security. Yes, I do recognize that I sit in the National Security Council, but the details of matter security, I think the line ministry would deal with, interior. I can just take this concern. It would be very unfortunate if we are losing our young people, and I've seen a number of reports of losing young people in campuses. A lot of it is as a result of pure insecurity. Some also of people with very ill motives targeting especially our female students. I think this is something that we cannot shy away from. That's why I chose to speak to it. I will share this with my colleague, that it is a concern from the students for him to take necessary action. I think this is a very fantastic idea, Stacy, of the Leadership Summit. I think we can organize something major leadership summit, where now we just talk the whole day about leadership. And you really don't have to have just Mbadi. We can organize some people some professionals to talk about leadership. We bring in people with also practical experience. We bring in people who have academic experience to talk to you on leadership. I think that could be a very good idea. And maybe what you need is how would it be facilitated. So if you want to have something like that next year, we can agree. And you tell me how, we have to think around the budget. And I see how